Writers, welcome back to writing. Today's lesson focus is planning. When you make a plan, you think through something and decide how it's going to go. The part of your brain that does great planning is the prefrontal cortex. I've been planning this story for a couple of days. The last time I was with you, you saw my Tiny Topics notebook and you saw that I wrote some ideas down for my Labor Day Saturday. I put a star by the one I've decided to write about, and that is going to the football game at Purdue University's Ross-Ade Stadium. Now, I haven't written anything, but my brain has been super busy planning it. I've been thinking about the story over and over again, kind of like a movie. Mrs. Richard has taught us that every great story has characters and a setting. Well, my story is about my husband and myself, and the setting or where we are is the stadium at night. I'm going to use my hand, actually my fist, to tell my story. I like to do that because I have my fist with me all the time, and it's easy for me to talk across my story because I can use my fingers. Here goes. My husband and I arrived at the stadium and were stunned or shocked to see the large crowd. There were thousands of people there. As we got closer to the gate or the opening to go into the stadium, it became more crowded and we were getting crushed and had a hard time getting in. Then we finally got to the gate or the door that was going to let us inside the football stadium. Craig grabbed my hand and we started to walk through, but people were smushing us so much that I let go of his hand and we had to go single file. He got lost in the crowd and I was having a hard time getting through the door, but I finally did. Once into the stadium, I looked around for him and I saw him up ahead. I yelled, "Craig, wait!" He turned around and said, "Heidi, hurry, we're late." I started to dash after him, and that's when I saw a huge puddle. It had been raining all day in Lafayette, not in Mishawaka, but in Lafayette, and there was a puddle in front of me. Well, I was going to walk around the puddle, but there were people everywhere, and I could not walk around. There was absolutely no room. So I had one choice. I had to jump. I jumped as hard as I could, but I was wearing my new sandals and they're not really great for jumping. So I landed smack in the puddle. The water gushed up, got my hair wet, got my shirt wet, got my pants wet. I looked ridiculous. At the moment that I landed in the puddle, at that exact moment, the band started playing. So even though I looked ridiculous, I couldn't help but smile because it was like the moment was planned. Craig yelled at me again, "Heidi, hurry!" So without thinking about it, I ran off and tried to join him. Now that is the story I've planned in my head. I talked across my fingers and know what I want to write. Now it's just a matter of getting my story down on paper. Let me do a quick check. Does my story have characters? Yes, my husband and me. Did I put myself somewhere? Yes, we were at Ross-Ade Stadium at Purdue University. Did something happen to me? Look behind me. Did something happen? Yes, something happened to make my story interesting. My story does not sound like this. I went to the football game. My husband and I were in a big crowd. We sat down. We had fun. No, that would be a boring story. You have to think of a story where something happened. It might be something good, or in my case, it might be something embarrassing. Writers, it's your turn now. I want you to get out your heart map or get out your Tiny Topics notebook. I want you to find one idea that you think has some interesting possibilities. put a little star beside it. And then I want you to start playing that story in your mind and planning how it's going to go. When you're ready, your teacher even might let you tell your story to her or a partner. You're going to be ready to write a great story once you do what all great writers do: plan. I'll see you soon, writers.